Hey Taurus, welcome to your month ahead reading for December 2022. We're going to take a peek at some messages that Spirit has for you as we wrap up this year and go into a new one. So we're going to start first by pulling a question that Spirit wants you to think about. And what we have for you is shrinking. Where do you feel sheepish or shy when it comes to money? How is this keeping you stuck? So let's pull another oracle card and see what other energies are surrounding this reading for my Taurus collective. And what we have for you is Hermit, retreat and recharge. So it feels like when there are things that are concerned with money or how you make money, there is very much a sense of you sort of holding yourself back, where, you may have a brilliant idea that you haven't necessarily taken the time to explore. You haven't sort of made that bold move towards building your wealth and things of that nature. So it's almost a sense that maybe it's time for you to take a little bit of a step back and think about why it is that you are so sort of reluctant to take chances when it comes to money. And this is not a situation where it's like whatever you have in the bank right now, you just like go to Vegas and blow it all, like, during one weekend. But thinking about those gifts and talents that you have that you may not have been sort of capitalizing on. So what is it that's preventing you from taking those steps forward? And I don't necessarily think that this is a situation where somebody else can provide you with those answers. It's going to take a little bit of introspection. So for some of you out there, it may be that you took a chance before and it didn't necessarily work out. But I also think that there's an opportunity here for you to kind of sit and map out what your future financial status looks like. What is it that you want? Like, what is your ideal state when it comes to money? And think about the things that you can do now to get yourself closer to that sort of goal. So I think that there's an opportunity here for you to just sort of take a step back, think things through, come up with a plan, and figure out what's holding you back from executing that plan. So let's get into some tarot and see what other messages Spirit has for my Taurus collective. And we're going to start with your energy going into December 2022. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse, clarified by the Seven of Water, or the Seven of Cups in reverse as well. This is very much an energy of being stuck. There's a bit of an energy here of being stagnant as well. So the Queen of Wands is somebody who's fiery, is somebody who's excited. They have a lot of energy to give. And right now, what I'm feeling for you, Taurus, is that there's a little bit of fatigue that's happening with you right now. And with the Seven of Cups in reverse, or the Seven of Water in reverse, it almost feels as though you can't see a path forward, that you don't necessarily see any options that are available to you, especially when it comes to your finances. So not a lot of movement, not a lot of excitement. It's just, it feels very, I'm going to say bland, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just things are kind of floating along. There's nothing that's particularly inspiring or exciting about what it is that you're doing now to make money, but you can't quite figure out a path to do something different that might be a better fit for you. Now, why this message is important for you, why Spirit wants you to know this, and this is interesting. We had a few cards flip out for you. We have the King of Air, we have the Emperor in reverse. The reading's a little bit hard to see. And we also have the Five of Fire, or the Five of Wands. So what this feels like is that there is a need for you to not only be truthful with yourself, but to people around you. It almost feels as though there has been a loss of control when it comes to your money, that you are not fully in charge of dictating how it comes to you. There are things about it that feels like you want to change them, but you haven't necessarily articulated them, and you haven't necessarily thought through how you might be able to accomplish that. So what ended up happening with you, Taurus, I think, is that with the Emperor in reverse, that you sort of felt a little bit powerless, I guess, almost as if you were a bystander in the way that money comes to you, that it's a pretty passive energy, that you haven't taken much action. And that's what we saw over here with this stagnancy, with the Seven of Water in reverse and the Queen of Wands in reverse. But with the Five of Fire, this is a very defensive, this is a very sort of punchy fighting energy. So it feels like Spirit needs you to think about this and decide whether or not this is something that you want to fight for. And I suspect that Spirit is asking you that because they know that you can. It just may be a situation where you may not necessarily realize that. And that could be the reason that Hermit came out. Retreat and recharge. Get your energy up so that you can map out this plan, that you can fight for it going forward. Now, how you can get the most out of this upcoming month, how can my Tauruses get the most out of December? We have the Page of Fire. This is a messenger card. This is the very beginning. So pages are someone who, is sort of in the very beginning stages of building. So when it comes to the fire energy, something that's exciting, something that's innovative, this spark that's being lit, this is the very beginning. So making the most out of this month is going to involve you being open enough to recapture that spark that you may have lost, that idea that you have maybe set to the side for a little bit. It's time to re-examine that and put together a more practical plan about how you can move that forward. And we have that clarified by the Eight of Earth, or the Eight of Pentacles in traditional tarot. This is about work. This is about someone who spends time honing their craft. They become an expert in this area. It's someone who is in full control of what they're doing. They know their craft inside and out, and they're willing to put in the effort to make sure that people recognize them for the sort of skilled artisan that they are. So making the most out of this month is going to require a little bit of effort on your part, but it seems like it's going to work out okay for you. Now, something that you should explore, we have the Two of Fire, or the Two of Wands in reverse. So the Two of Wands is typically one of my decision cards, right? Where you're sort of at a crossroads. You're trying to figure out whether or not you stay in one place or you start exploring the world around you. So I do feel like something that you have to consider is what's keeping you from making that decision. And we saw that here with the Shrinking card for the overall energy, right? What's keeping you stuck? What's keeping you from making this decision to move forward in trying something new when it comes to your finances? And we also have the Two of Earth, or the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a card of juggling. It's about sort of finding your balance. So thinking about your path forward and how you're coming from this relatively stuck energy, there is very much a sense that, as you move forward, you're going to have to explore figuring out how to find that balance between honoring yourself and trying something that your intuition is leading you to, and this fear that you might have of it not working out and overthinking the what ifs and all of that, making sure that you have the time, the energy, and space to dedicate to this new endeavor. But it feels like there's a lot of soul searching energy that's in this reading for my Taurus collective. There's nothing stopping you except for you. It's not your skills. It's not your ability. It's not the ability to create new opportunities for yourself. It's really just a matter of you sort of hiking up your pants and saying, you know what? Okay, we are going to do this. I can absolutely 100% do this, and I'm going to give it all I have. Like, I am going to dedicate the time and attention that this requires. Now, something that you should be mindful of this month, which I love for you, we have Fortune's Wheel, and we have the Queen of Earth, or the Queen of Pentacles. So something that you should know going into December, if you are able to do this soul searching, if you are able to get to the root of why you're so reluctant to sort of try a new endeavor or try a different way of bringing in money, you are going to see changes. The wheel is going to turn from you, and it's going to start creating this amazing stability in your life. You're going to start seeing the fruits of the labor that you have put in with this Eight of Pentacles. So putting in that work, you're going to start seeing a return on that investment. But it's not going to happen until you sort of go into yourself a little bit. Take a little bit of time to get your energy up, to get your strength up, to figure out what it is that's holding you back from this idea that you've been sort of sitting on for so long. So I think for a lot of you out there, there's been this sort of this little creative thing that you keep sort of smushing down. And I think that the more time you take for yourself to think this through, you're going to be able to build that excitement back up. We saw that with the Page of Wands. You're going to reignite that spark. And when you have the energy, you're going to start putting in that work that's going to net you something really, really good. So, oh, wow, that came out real quick. So pulling another message from Spirit, we have address your addictions. Now, addictions doesn't necessarily have to be physical, to like food or drugs or alcohol or shopping or anything like that. We could also be addicted to self-sabotage in a lot of cases. So I think for a lot of my Tauruses out there, this addiction that you have is to fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of trying, fear of failing, whatever that means to you. There is absolutely a need for you in going into December and closing out the rest of 2022 is to really start addressing those things that have been holding you back, especially when it comes to your finances. But please understand that you have the universe at your back, and they are waiting for you to get to the root of these issues so that you can reignite that spark and start taking those steps forward, because that's going to start building the foundation for wealth, for increased income, for the abundance that you've been looking for, so you can get out of this sort of stuck and stagnant place. So Taurus Collective, that's what I got for you. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.